Good morning, Las Vegas. It's Zandra Pollard with It's Where I Am. Today, my guests are Chris Spencer, Lex King, and Dr. Lawrence Jackson. So, our topic today is about marriage and love relationships. How's your marriage going? I know I had some ups and downs recently from pandemic till now. We're not post pandemic, but definitely the pandemic brought us closer together. And that worked out for some and not so much for others. Um, anyway, I wanted Chris to come in and talk to us about his marriage and how things are going. He has a show on Kevin Hart's radio on Sirius XM. And it's he and his wife, and they interview couples every week. So let's bring in Chris, and he can tell us more about it. Hello, Chris. How are you? Can you unmute yourself, sir?
Of course I can.
Thank you for being here.
Come on. Anything you ask me to do, I'm going to do.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, not anything, but a lot of stuff.
Well, I brought you on because you were a guest last year around, it was Valentine's Day.
Hmm.
And we were talking about marriage and love relationships. And
Hmm.
so that was pre pandemic.
Crazy, right?
Then we hit the pandemic.
Hmm.
How did that work for you and Vanessa? Did it bring you guys closer, or was there a lot of, arguing and irritation going on? What was it like for you and
We
her?
were already perfect-ish adjacent. And no, it worked out great because in us being together, we created the show Date Night with Chris and Vanessa, which brought us even closer. It allowed us to know that, I was apprehensive about working with my wife. I wanted to keep church and state separate. As we were home alone together and talking together and conversing, and then she came up with the idea, and I was like, eh. But I was like, wait a second, this doesn't hurt. And so I think we actually got closer. Not to say we don't still bicker and argue about the most ridiculous stuff, but I
Sure.
think we heal faster from it. It's like you ain't ish, you ain't ish. You want something to drink? Yeah, please. Keep no ice.
Because no one's going anywhere. And so you have to sit there and work out your problems. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So now I want you to tell us about your show on, I was saying it was Kevin Hart's
Yeah.
Serious. Is
Cheers.
that
XM
right?
Channel 96. Correct. Yeah.
So that's every Friday.
Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
2 days.
The first airing is Friday, at 4 p.m. Pacific. And
Okay.
then on Saturday, it would be 12 p.m. Pacific, and Sunday, at 3 p.m. Pacific. And it's date night with Chris and Vanessa. And we have guests ranging from D Nice to Tiffany Haddish to today we're doing Margaret Cho. Those are single people, but we've had couples like Boris and Nicole, and Shanice and Flex, and Holly and Rodney, and a slew of other great pieces of talent, great couples that are very talented, and we've learned so much. We're on experts as well in the world of education, psychiatry, psychology, um, uh, some people who work in government. It's been great. It's been great.
Awesome. So I saw the award show, the NAACP Awards,
Right.
and Anthony Anderson was hosting.
Yes.
And that's when I first saw, I only know D Nice
Right.
from his rap song. So
Right.
he won this great award, but what was it for? Like, what
Now,
is,
please don't tell me you've been in jail for the last year.
well, I know he has the truck commercial.
Oh my God. You moved and you just lost touch.
I
D Nice
know.
has been
I
entertaining the world this entire year on Instagram Live with a thing he created called Club Quarantine.
Oh,
You didn't know
okay.
about this? It was on Instagram, and he's had hundreds of thousands of people listening to him every night that he's on. I
Okay.
wouldn't say hundreds of thousands. There was one inaugural night. It was one night there was over 100,000 people, but thousands and thousands of people every time he comes on. And he's had the likes of Michelle Obama to Janet Jackson to Beyonce to me.
Okay.
So everybody listens to it, so you might want to listen to it.
Well, you know what? I had a guest on the show a few months back, Cody Elaine
That's
Oliver.
my girl, Black Love.
Yes, Black
Oh yeah,
Love.
Tommy. Yep.
So she was on the show and we brought you up because I told her you were on my show. Of course, you were on her show.
Right.
And I was telling her that a lot of people in Las Vegas know you as the stand up comedian.
Right.
And of course, you do so much, much more.
Yeah.
And so she had shared a story with me about you doing a show. And you asked the audience, you said, wait a minute, where do you guys know me from? And everyone screamed out Black Love.
Isn't that crazy? As much
Yes.
I've been doing TV for 25 years, and I, I was opening for Tiffany Haddish, and we were in New York, New York, Chicago. We did a few dates, and they would say my name. They would say my no. They would say my credits and my name,
Okay.
and then I would get a good applause. And then when I came out, it would be a bigger applause. So on the third night, I was like, "Where do y'all know me from?" Black Love. And I was like,
Yes.
"Oh my God, that's great." So that was interesting.
Awesome. You know, I want to bring in some other guests because I don't know if you touch on this subject on your show, but I like to bring in the LGBT plus community on the show
Absolutely.
often because I want them to have more representation. It's so important.
Matter of fact, one of our fifth guests was this couple, Jason and Adair. We can talk about it when they come on, but
Okay.
they're big stylists in the industry.
Okay.
They're friends of ours.
Okay, awesome. Well, this young lady is a filmmaker and writer,
Mm-hmm.
and she has a show, or excuse me, she has a film, a short film called Seven. So I'm going to bring in Alexander King. Hey, Lex.
Hi, how's it going?
All right. So we were just talking about marriage and love relationships pre quarantine till now. And I also already mentioned that you have a short film called Seven, which debuted a few weeks ago.
Yep,
And the importance to me to bring on representation from the LGBT plus community.
appreciate that.
Of course. And can you please tell us more about your film?
Yeah, so Seven is a short film that I created based upon a fear. I am single and I always, wonder about being in relationships, if I would find the person I'm supposed to be with. And it kind of just grew from that of a fear of like, what if you met the person you're supposed to be with and something tragic happens? How would you deal with that? So that's pretty much the motivation for my film. It's very much heart-wrenching, and you have sympathy for both characters, a lot of compassion, and just how love tests you.
Yes, I got to actually watch the film before it debuted, so I thank you for that. And
You're welcome.
you know what? I was just so in tune with it. I didn't know what was going to happen with these people.
Right.
So anyhow, also want to bring in our therapist, who is Dr. Lawrence Jackson. And let's get Dr. Lawrence here. Hey, can you unmute yourself, Dr. Lawrence Jackson?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, we're doing fine. So we're talking about love relationships, marriage, love relationships,
Okay.
um, hetero, homo, whichever, because we are all not biologically the same, but we're all the damn same. We all
Okay.
get on each other's nerves. It's hard to deal with one another in close quarters. And
Absolutely.
so for you, what were you dealing with? Did you get a lot of clients since the pandemic? I'm sure you have.
I've been busy. Yeah, I've been busy. I've been busy. Um, we deal with stress all very differently, and I think when you think about the pandemic, which is a stressor we're not prepared for, something that's completely out of our control.
Mhm.
On top of the other stressors that we may have in a relationship, things just get exacerbated, and so things intensify within a relationship, and that's harder to navigate because you have less resources than you had before. So these crises hit a little bit harder for you, and it's hard to adapt to it overall.
Chris was saying that he was fortunate that things worked out great for him uh,
Nice.
during the pandemic. And I have to say, for me, it did also. I noticed that my husband and I got a lot closer,
Nice.
um, and we took more time with each other because we were both busy working, and so we would get home, and then it would be the arguments. The power control is like, I'm working and I'm coming home and washing the dishes and doing the laundry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the woman always has the second shift.
Uh, yeah.
So that was a big issue, but he was home and he was helping out more.
Nice.
Yes,
As he
that was good.
should.
Exactly. But
Absolutely.
you know what? I live in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas has like the largest domestic violence crimes or issues in the country.
Yeah.
One
Pretty
of them.
bad.
That's because they just lost all their money on the strip.
Exactly.
Right.
These external stressors.
Too
Yep.
much drinking, they're partying, and then they come home. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to make an excuse for it, but I can see where, like you said, those external stresses could be heightened.
Exactly. So anyhow, Lex, how were things for you? Who did you quarantine? Who did you boo up with? And how did it go for
Um,
you?
yeah, I mean, I had a pretty, let's just say I learned a lot. I dove straight into a relationship in the beginning of the pandemic, and I'm not regretful of anything. Granted, I really know now that I'm not supposed to be with this person. But it took that much time and like me understanding my worth and figuring out like, oh, this is not for me. But I'm so thankful to have that time to figure that out because I wouldn't want it to figure it out any other way. I have more boundaries I didn't know that I needed, a better understanding of how to show up for my partner without me not showing up for myself, because that's been a thing for me. And it's shown me a lot of putting myself first doesn't make me selfish.
So you learned more about yourself.
I learned more about myself and what I actually do not like and what my requirements are.
Uh,
As well as, I was putting relationships before my career.
okay.
And it shows because when I look back and when I'm not putting something out, I'm like, oh, I was dating this person. And I didn't like that about myself. And it was something that it was like a major shift in that last relationship. When I started to do my own career stuff first, I felt her being more of like, I need your attention, I need this, and I was always be the one to cave in. So yeah, I learned a lot, and I'm very thankful. It's unfortunate that a lot of people were sick and lost their lives.
Yes.
But if we look at the positive sides of things, I think a lot of people had opportunity to grow, and if they didn't, just shame on you.
Right.
Yeah.
So all three of you, did you do more writing during the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, being a writer, what the pandemic did for me is I couldn't go nowhere, so my ADD was reprogrammed and made me have to focus and finish these projects.
Awesome. So what do you guys have coming up?
Well, right now, the Zoom I was in before this Zoom was Real Husbands of Hollywood is coming back as a limited
Awesome.
series on BET Plus.
Okay.
And right now we're in a room, and then we're also what we like to do is we bring on the cast one at a time and find out what's been going on. And usually it's been what was going on last year. Now we have to ask what's been going on for the last 4 years because uh, 16 was the last time we were on air, so 5 years. Figure out what's going on and then how we can exaggerate it and make it funny.
And so on the Real Husbands of Hollywood, you have Kevin Hart, Nelly. Can help me out now. Come on.
Oh, you're doing good. Nick Cannon, Robin
Yeah.
Thicke, Dwayne Martin, JB Smooth, Boris Kojo.
And they're all coming back.
They're all coming back.
Awesome.
I might actually be seeing you on there. I work with Carl Craig right now.
Oh, that's my uncle, brother, cousin, father figure, friend.
Yeah.
Where is he?
In Atlanta.
That's right.
Everyone's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Hey, Atlanta's a move right now.
I guess so.
Not for me.
Me either. I'm enjoying myself here, right here in Las Vegas, being a community resource.
Too hot.
Say it again.
Too hot.
It's too hot. Yes, but there's air conditioning. Go inside, snap. But I
Yeah.
love being a community resource for the people. You can find resources and you can find Dr. Jackson as well on itswhereiam.com. And Dr. Jackson, if you want to chime in and let us know what you're doing and how people
Yeah.
reach you, although you're so busy.
I'm doing all right. And so I am currently an assistant professor at UNLV within the couple and family therapy program, housed within the School of Medicine. But outside of that, I also have a private practice in the Las Vegas community, where I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, working with individuals, couples, and families of diverse backgrounds and experiences under the alias The Black Male Therapist. In addition to that, I do a little bit of community resourcing through my social media at The Black Male Therapist, where I have Black Therapy Fridays, where I try to promote mental health awareness, inspire youth, and empower others. And of course, I have a fashion line too, so I'm busy. I'm busy. I
Let
have a
me see
fashion
your
line. This is
shirt. You're wearing one of your
yeah, my
shirts.
new ones. Yeah, it says Black Therapy. Kind of to play off the Black Panther with the R for relevant,
I
meaningful, and
love
fruitful
it.
for our community.
I need that.
I
I
need
got
that
you. I
too.
got you. I got you. Let me
I
know.
thought it
We'll
said Panther
connect.
this whole time.
Says Black Therapy. Yeah. And so we actually getting it's a limited order shirts that coming in tomorrow. I'm really excited to get them out.
I'm
And
a
so
medium.
I got you. I got you. Let me know. Let me know. And so with the fashion line to promote mental health and community resourcing through social media, through different engagements, things like that. And of course, teaching and supervising students, it's definitely a lot, right? But it's the impact that's important, especially being a Black male, and the visibility for our communities is so important.
So, what do people do if they need help? Like, everyone is so busy. I can't even get an appointment
Yeah.
for my damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm trying to figure it out with hubby, and pulling on, textbook stuff from years ago.
Yeah.
But what can you tell people to do when they are so stressed in their relationship? You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I think about you being stressed in your relationship, I think therapy is one of the most challenging things to do because you're already in crisis mode, right? You
Mm.
have less time, you have less resources, you're in a time crunch almost, right? And so you're not wanting to go through pages and pages and find the right therapist. You want somebody to fix it right
Right
now. See it,
now.
you know? And so that's why I always say therapy is a resource. You don't have to go to it when things are bad. It doesn't have to be for crisis only. I think therapy is that thing that any time in your life you can benefit and get something out of that process. And so if you're able to utilize it proactively, it's a lot easier. But once you're in crisis mode, you got to figure out what is something available, what is the access to resources around me. And
So,
that's
what
why I
do I
try to
do then if I'm in crisis mode?
yeah. So whether it be utilizing people's social media, I think it's really huge for many therapists. Whether it be therapy for Black girls with Dr. Joy. The Gottman Institute's really good for relationships. They actually have a blog that I also am one of the expert writers on as well, to talk about ways to communicate relationships. I have a piece coming out mid-April about uh, making mutual interest or experience or values within a relationship the core piece of handling conflict, right?
Okay.
And so what I mean by that is that I think about a business plan. When you think about a business plan, you have the mission statement, you have the vision statement, you have objectives to reach that. I think we can also utilize that plan in relationships. I think we
Okay.
can sit down with our partners and think about what do we value, what are our tenets, what is things that are important to us. Are going to keep us first? Is trust, transparency, communication at the core of our beliefs, right? And utilizing those things as you mutually agree upon them to help you all navigate through challenges in a relationship. And
So, when
so,
you were on before, you were on with Marshall Todd,
yeah,
who is the executive producer for Woke. He is
yeah,
in his second season and writing. So, I want to
yeah,
give a
he's
shout
doing
out
it.
to Marshall Todd.
He's
Um,
killing it.
but when we were talking when you were on before, I was saying when you go to therapy, you can't be like, it's his fault, like placing blame. Don't you have to
Yeah,
start with therapy for yourself first and then work
abs-
on the relationship?
absolutely. I'm also a firm believer that awareness means opportunity for change. Right? You can't change things you're not aware of. And so if you're not able to recognize the things that upset you. What are your trigger points? Where did
Right.
that come from? The origin of those things. How are you able to cope with them effectively? You're going to struggle to communicate that to your partner because you're not even aware of it yourself, right? And it's challenging when I'm trying to help you to be aware of the relationship aspects, but also the individual aspects all at one time. And if you have a identified therapist where you're working through those interpersonal or individual situations or circumstances that could influence a relationship, you're gonna be a lot better off when you come to couples therapy, right? And so I definitely think that's a big thing. I'm a firm believer that if you work on yourself in a relationship and your partner does the same thing, the relationship's gonna improve, right? You can't focus on the other person making sure they're doing it first. So I'm gonna wait till I put my foot in until you put your foot in, right?
Right.
I think you gotta take that ownership and accountability and say, hey, I'm gonna do this to make myself better because I know it's gonna make me a better partner for you.
Well, my husband always says, you always think you're right. And I think I know everything. But I feel like once he realizes that,
Mm-hmm.
we'll do a lot better. Right?
Solving fall, right? Yeah.
So, Chris, chime in. Are you asleep?
No, I want to hear from Lex. You ain't talked to Lex yet.
I have talked to Lex. I'm getting to Lex next.
We only
So,
got 5 minutes.
it's been 5 minutes.
I was
Lex,
saying we only got 5 minutes. I'm looking at the clock going, I want to hear more from that movie I'm about to be in with Lex.
yes, yes, Lex. Well, then here you go. There's your cue. Come on in and tell us more about Seven. I think you've already gave us the synopsis, but
Yeah.
where can Chris find it? Where can our 91.5 listeners find it?
Well, you guys can go onto YouTube. It's Seven the Short. If you just type in Seven Alexander King, it should pop right up. Also under Queries TV. Chris, I'll make sure you get a direct link. Don't worry about it. I got you.
I'm not talking about watching it. I want to be in 8.
Me and 8. Look, listen. Go ahead and get me in the writers' room. Eight is coming. Yeah, I mean it's been cool. It's like, it's difficult creating your own films, but YouTube is definitely a savior. And because there's an open market for my type of film, I think that I'm hitting some pretty good numbers with what I have. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to my career. So
They have like a whole LGBT plus
I'm looking for Alexander.
field. Like when you go on your cable, you guys have like your own movies now.
yeah, but
But what are
it's
they like?
not from
How
our
are yours
perspective.
different? What are they like
My
and how is yours different?
my films are different because it's less based upon gender and more so based upon why we do the things we do.
Okay.
I feel like when they're making these LGBTQIA plus films, they're focusing on like a coming out story, or my everyday life doesn't involve me telling the world that I'm gay. That's not how it works. I'm a human, I'm a person. So if you watch my film Seven, it's two women in the film, but they're not talking about sexuality. They're talking about their internal feelings, what it was like to be with each other, what it was like not to have each other. And I think that's different for me because I'm representing something that should be represented naturally, not based upon genders. It's just more of experiences and the right representation. Like I'm more of, I would say, a masculine female, but that doesn't mean that I want to act like a man or be a man. And that's typically what we see in movies and shows pertaining to people that are more like me. So I'm creating something that's more that I would watch myself.
All right. Well,
I'm glad you said that.
okay.
No, thank you.
No, because there's an assumption that if a young lady is a little bit more masculine, she's a dude. She was tough and on Red Table Talk, Niecy Nash was on with her wife.
Yep.
And to see this masculine girl get giddy about Niecy Nash touching her neck for the first time, I was like, it was beautiful to see.
Right.
No, she looked like she would have been like, "Hey, don't be touching my neck unless I ask you to touch my neck."
And look, that's how they write us in film.
That's how they write you guys. So to see the beauty in these two women who are in love, even though this one got on some Timbs, it was beautiful. You know what I mean? Because she was still a lady.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was so interesting you said that.
Well, tell us where we can find your stuff, Chris, because we're going to wrap this up.
Date Night with Chris and Vanessa, Sirius XM Channel 96, every Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, Saturday 12 p.m. Pacific, Sundays 3 p.m. Pacific. And if you're on the East Coast, add 3. Central, add 2. Hawaii, -4 or something like that.
And Arizona, who knows with Arizona?
Arizona is ahead of the time right now. They don't got no time change. That's what we need
exactly.
to be.
You know?
Exactly. And Dr. Lawrence Jackson, can you please tell everyone where to find you or whatever social media handles you want to put out
Get
there?
them shirts.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you're interested in this shirt, go to theblackmaletherapist.com /shop. That's where I have the shirts located. If you want to go to just The Black Male Therapist, you'll find my website. And if you're interested in booking for individual, couple, family services or any training services, as well as you're looking on social media at Instagram at The Black Male Therapist, Twitter at Black Therapy Fry, FRI, short for Friday, and for Facebook, The Black Male Therapist LLC as well.
Okay, and Lex, did I
You can
get you
find-
already? Okay.
No, yeah, you can find me. I am alexanderking.com. Everything I do is going to be on that website. On Instagram, it's I am Alexander King.
And you can find everybody on itswhereiam.com. And if you missed the show, you can always catch me on YouTube. All the links to the show are on the website. And thank you for listening, 91.5. I will see you next month, Saturday, 8:30 a.m. Thank you. Bye. Okay, thanks, y'all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.